Hello everyone, this is Johannes and you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings. And today we are taking a look at Transatlantic from Mac Gerdts, the designer of Concordia amidst other titles. And Concordia is a game I am really fond of, a game I really enjoy. So of course I really wanted to check out Transatlantic at this Essen Spiel 2017. I got a copy, I have played it quite a few times, and now we're going to see how I feel about Transatlantic. But first, let's see how the game plays, and we're gonna go back up and see what I think about it. In Transatlantic, you are trying to buy these ships. And the ships you're buying, you're gonna try to put out in these different ocean spaces and try to ship with them to get more money, to buy more ships, to earn victory points. And the player with the most victory points is the winner. This game is based around an action card deck. Every player is going to start with the same 7 cards, and when you play the game, you're going to get some more cards. It's a tiny little bit of deck building, but not too much. The game is pretty simple. When it's your turn, you're going to play a card, you're going to do what the card says, and then it's going to be the next player's turn. So the easiest way to actually teach this game is to just go through the actions, because the rulebook for this game is really short. It's basically just look at the cards and some more things, of course. So let's get started with these rule cards. Let's start with this one. This is the Shipyard. And the Shipyard says purchase up to 2 steamships, deploy one of them at sea. So let's talk about how you do that. In the middle here, you're going to have a ship market. And every ship is going to have a red price here, and also there's going to be a price modifier at the board, at the bottom of the board. So let's say I want to buy the Majestic. I can buy that for 150 pounds. I think it's pounds. Yes, it is. It's pound sterling. I can buy that for 150, and it's plus 0, so that's 150. Paper money is right out here. Then I can buy this one if I want the Oregon, or I can buy the Germanic. Let's say I want the Germanics. That's only 80 plus 20. That's $100. I will put the $100 over here. Boom! I just used $250. It's not bucks. It's pound sterling. And I will take these 2 ships and I will add them to my area. Also, I'm gonna add 2 coal cubes because these are steamships, they need coal to do stuff. The things that happen when you buy ships is that after you have bought a ship, the one that is farthest to the right for me but the left for you is going to go to the shipyard. So this ship is basically discarded, and it's going to go down here and it's going to add something for scoring. I'm going to explain that later. Then we're going to go up here and we're going to add more ships. So after we have done that, then I'm going to deploy one of them at sea. So let's say I have this ship. This is the Majestic. The Majestic here. When I take the Majestic, I want to deploy it. But to deploy it, I have to be able to do that. And to be able to do that, it has to be a newer ship than the one at the top of the lane. So this ship is made in 1890, and I can say this ship is the France, is made in 1910, it's made in 1872, and the Scotia is made in 1862. So let's say I want to put it here in the North Atlantic. The thing that happens is that Scotia is going to go down. I'm going to put the Majestic in here, and I'm going to put one of my own captains on the Majestic like that. And the thing that's happened also here is that because I put it in the North Atlantic, I now have the fastest ship in the North Atlantic. I'm going to take one of these blue ribbons and put it on my player board. And I'm going to come back to how this player board works. But this is basically a player board with all the different colored ships and different tokens you can fill up downwards like that. And that is how the Shipyard action works. Let's do the next one. This is a super simple one. It's Ship Agent. This basically just lets you copy the top card of a discard pile of another player. So basically the last action another player did, you can copy and do that action yourself. Now let's go on to the action that makes you get more money. Let's say I use the transport action. The transport action first says deploy one ship if possible. So I have this Germanic. It's made in 1874. I can put it in here because the Adriatic is made in 1872, and I will put one of my captains on it. I'm sorry if this is confusing. I just didn't take up more captains. You don't actually move them. You have more captains and you put them on. Sorry for that. That's unprofessional. But let's continue this rules explanation. Anyways, without any captains, we don't need many captains. You understand because you're a smart watcher. That's why I didn't put out all the captains, because you would understand. So yeah, let's see what happens now. I now will let 2 of your own ship transport. So I can now choose one of my 5 ships to transport. Also, I can transport with Scoria, because that's a neutral ship that everyone can use. And the way what happens when you transport is the following. Let's see, I'm going to transport with France. I will take 1 coal because that's the price of transporting. And I want to also do a transport with the Majestic. I will now see the price here up in the corner. The green price is going to be my income. So I'm now going to get 90 plus 60. That's 150 pounds sterling. And I will add that to my account. So I have more money now. And that is how the transport action works. Let's continue with the region action. The region action is also says deploy 1 ship if possible. I don't have any ships, so I won't deploy anything. Then it says choose 1 region. All ships in that region transports. Take the income of the oldest transporting ship of another player as your extra bonus. I just didn't remember the wording, that's why I had to read it, because I'm not so good at reading upside down. So, what would happen? Let's say I choose this row. Now what happens is that every ship in this row will transport. The only problem is that my ship down here doesn't have coal, but it's not a problem because it's my starting ship, so it doesn't need coal. So, what happens now is that I will use my coal, the blue player will use his coal, and I will now get 40 plus 20. The blue player will get 30, and then the oldest transporting ship of another player is this one. I will get another 30. So I will get 40, 50, 60, 90 more pounds sterling. And that is how the region one works. Then, of course, you have a coal card, because you need more coal, and you will then get on your player board, you can add these coal tiles. And when you do, that gives you more coal every time you use a coal action. So I have 2 of them. You start with 1 in everything. You will get 2 coal for that, and then 2 extra coal, which you will throw all over the table. And then I'm going to put them on my ships. And I have to do that evenly. So I can't just put everything on 1 ship. And the max amount on 1 ship is going to be 3 coal cubes. So I have no coal here, no coal here, no coal here, and no, everything has at least 1, and I only have 1 more. That means I can choose where it goes. So let's say I want it on the France because it gives me the most income. And that is how the coal work. Then we have the invest action. Here I can purchase either a new tile, I can purchase a coal tile, a green tile, a white tile, or a red tile. There is one mistake in the printing, which I basically makes all the red tiles, they are yellow on the cards, but that is the red tiles. And I can buy that at a trading post. Let's see how that works. Up here on the top of all the different ocean areas, you have these places for trading posts. So let's say I had to choose somewhere. I have a ship, so I'm going to choose here. I'm going to use 20 boom pounds sterling down there, and I now have a trading post. And what that does is that every time I transport with a ship here, I will get 1 point. So let's say I go back and do the region action. I transport every ship here, I transport that one and that one. That would then give me 2 points on the point track. So that you can do, and then you will just choose a tile and put it on your player board. The other thing you can do is to buy a coal tile. That is always priced at 50 pounds sterling, and I will also then get 2 coal, which I can put wherever I want. The last card is the director, and that is how you get all your cards back in your hand. You have to play at least 4 cards. When playing, have at least 4 cards in a discard pile after you play this card. And then if you have played 6 cards, you will get to take 1 tile. If you have played 8 cards, you will get to take 2 different tiles, but never a blue ribbon. The only way to get a blue ribbon is to have the fastest ship on the North Atlantic. After that, you take all the cards into your hand and you will choose one of the cards that are in the display. So I will choose, for example, this one, and you will play that card immediately. I'm not going to go through all these special cards. There's quite a few different unique, interesting cards that are in the pile. I will not go through them. And that is basically how you play the game. But then how do you score points? There are 2 ways basically of scoring points. During the game, you will score points from the trading houses, and in the end of the game, you're going to score points. Also, during the game, you're going to score points for your ships, and at the end of the game, you're going to score points for your ships, and you're going to score points for your board. So let's first take a look at how you score ships. If, let's say, I'm just going to do a little bit of changing up here to make it easier to understand. Let's say this was possible, it is not, and then France is coming up here and want to go in this lane. What happens then is that the Germanic is going to get pushed off the table. And what happens then is that this ship will score. So, to score it, I'm going to see at my table here, my player board, I can see that I have 4 of these red ones. This is a red ship. I will have 4 of these red ones. That means it will gain me 7 points. And besides that, I'm going to get points, 1 point for each of the cards that are of the same color in the shipyard. So in this example, I would get 9 points. And that is how you score the ships. That will happen every time a ship gets pushed off, and it will happen with all the ships you have left on the board and also in your area at the end of the game. The last thing you will score for is that you will score for each completed row of tiles on your player board. The first one, not the printed one, the first one you actually fill out is worth 5 points, then it's worth 10 points, next one 15 points, and then 20 points for the last row. And then for the first row you have not finished, you're going to get some points for the tiles that are on that row. And that is basically the rules. The player with the most points is going to be the winner of Transatlantic. And that is how you play Transatlantic. A game I was really pumped to play, and I have been enjoying it. I am gonna have some problems during this review because I really wanted to love this game. And not problems because I don't have problems to say what I feel, but because I wanted to love it, so I played it again and again to see if there was something I was missing, to see if there's something here that I am not seeing, and I really hope there is. Before I go into why I'm saying all this, if you feel like I'm like, you are wrong, please let me know, because I really want to know if there's something I am missing with this game. But the way it is now, this game is good. It has some problems that we're gonna go into, but let's start with what is fun. The game is really quick. The game is easy to learn. I love the way that he has made Concordia, and also the rule book is just like 3 pages of text. Almost everything is in these cards, and I really enjoy that mechanic. I really enjoy the mechanic of playing a card, doing what the card says, and that's your action. I really love in Concordia, especially maybe more than here, that I can plan like 4 or 5, maybe 6 rounds, turns ahead. I can know, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. So I have my strategy basically in my hand. I really like this mechanic, and I really enjoy that he has worked more with that mechanic and put it in here. The game looks okay. It's nothing really special. It's no board. I know I was a little bit, oh, there's no board, but that's basically only because I was feeling I needed a board because I enjoyed the board in Concordia. And this looks okay. It's nothing amazing. It's nothing like I would not be drawn to this game if I looked at it. But for me, as you know, if you have seen my reviews, I don't really mind that. I love good components, but I'm not like, oh, I'm not gonna play Food Chain Magnate because it looks like a prototype, which it doesn't. But yeah, let's not go there. This game looks okay. What I really like is the art on the ships. And one thing I have to mention is that in this game, all the ships are real life ships. And one thing I really enjoy is like, this is a detail, like you're really going into the details. He actually, there is a booklet in the box which tells you the story of all the different ships, like what happened with them, where they was built, and all that stuff. You can have a Titanic in this game. You can have all these different real life ships, which, if you are interested in the theme, it might be really interesting. I'm not gonna read that book. I don't care, but it's really cool. I love that it's in there. So this game is short and sweet. That's one thing I enjoy. It's maybe an hour and 15 minutes with 4 players. It goes quick. You go through all the ships. The game ends pretty where it should end. I'm happy with the length of this game. When I played this game the first time, I was thinking, does it really matter what I do? And of course it does. Before you jump to your keyboard, of course it matters what you do. But as you saw in the rules explanation, all the different ships will give you points. So whatever ship you will take, you will get points. So of course you want to try to get the ship that has a higher speed, so you can get the blue ribbons and all of that. But in the end of the game, and also the ships will go out to the shipyard and make some ships worth more points, I'm sorry. One thing though is that when you play this game, the game really wants you to play balanced. There is nothing that makes me want to go, I'm gonna go heavy into red. You can't do that, because if I try to max up my red and get a lot of points in red, then it's okay for other people to take the red. It's hard for me to get all the reds, and there's not so many of each color, so it's really hard to focus on one color. I have tried to focus on a couple of colors. It works okay. You can get like a little bit more points from doing that, from going with 2 colors, maybe 3 colors. I don't really care about the other colors. But one thing, the game, as I said, one thing that's a really negative for me is that the game really wants you just to do everything. It doesn't want you to try just one thing. It wants you to do everything. Especially you see that in the points for the lines. You want to get everything built up as steady as the same as possible. I don't remember the English word. You want to have it balanced. You want to have everything as much up as you can, because you get points for that. And what happens then is that all the different ships give you the same amount of points. So basically what you are doing is just trying to get ships, the most ships, because if you can get the most ships, you will get the most points and you will win. Of course, you want to put out some trading posts, because that will give you more points. You can, of course, there's little things like you can try to get a lot in one region, but then if you're playing with players who are playing capable players, they will try to push you out so that you're not going to be and have a monopoly in that region. And you are basically back to trying to score the most points, of course, and also get the money. It's the game is fun the first times, but actually when I played it the last time, I didn't really have fun, because I felt like I had already explored everything that was to explore in this game. There are a couple of variants. I have played with the one with where you get contracts. You can get contracts every time you put in a ship. You get the contract for the passenger, the speed, and the tonnage. For if you have the biggest in that region, you will get some contracts. And then you have a special card called the President, which you can play instead of your director. And if you play the President, you can exchange contracts into money and also into more tiles. Not blue ribbons, but the other tiles you can trade it into. Did add something, but I didn't really feel like... There's just one more thing. You just want to buy the best ship. And that will give you even more stuff. I don't think this game is going to have any staying power, especially not for me, because there isn't many strategies that I can find. Most games I will play and I will see like, okay, next time I can try to do this, I can experiment with this, but here it's basically, I want to buy the most ships, I want to buy the ships, I will use the least amount of money. I have to manipulate. I have to try to, okay, of course, get ships that also give me money back so I can get more income. There are things to think about here, but I think if you played it a couple, 3 times, you will get different action cards, but the action cards will not change the way you play. It will only maybe say, okay, I'm going to get this green one instead of the red one because I have a card that will give me a little more income that way, or a little more points that way. Besides that, isn't really a lot of different things to do. That I feel, again, as I said in the beginning of my final thoughts, please tell me if I'm wrong. Please tell me if there's something here I don't see. But for me, this is just a good game. This is a game I will probably play again, but I don't know when. It's fun. I'm not sure. I really think you should play it before you buy it because it's just okay. It's a game I enjoyed playing the times I played it. I'm sad, like as I said in my Merlin review as well. I'm a bit sad making this because I really wanted this to be good. And some might say I really had high expectations, but I didn't really. I went in with blank with blank thoughts, not blank thoughts, but I didn't have anything. I didn't really think about this game gonna be amazing. I was looking forward to play it, but I wasn't like, wow. So the game is fun. There is, of course, sometimes it's like, oh, I really want that white ship because it will give me 3 more points. But that's what it comes down to. It always comes down to, like, if you play the way the game, I feel the game suggests you to do. Because 5, 10, 15, 20 points for the Lions, that's a lot of points. I feel like the game little too much maybe holds you in the hand and wants everyone to be like, yay, I get some points here, get some points here. Doesn't really matter what you do, what strategy you go for, you're gonna get a lot of points. So that might be a positive for some people. Like if you are, some of the players I played with said like, oh, this is a game, it's great for newer players. Like if you want it to be like, if you play a game with someone who plays a lot of games, someone who doesn't play a lot of games, and the players who play not a lot of games can have a chance to win. And of course that's something, if you enjoy that, if you want that, check it out. It is a good game. I will not call this anything else than a good game, but I don't think I will recommend it. And that is Transatlantic from Mac Gerdts and PD Worlag. I'm really happy that you watched my video. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed the video. And please like, please make me comments, and have a great time. And I will talk to you soon. Play some games. I will see you soon. Bye bye.